So being a complicated woman in the dating scene, hookup scene is very fucking easy, and it often goes like this. So you meet any random guy, we'll call him John. So you meet John and then you're like, "Hey John, you're very attractive, but I do need to know what you're looking for." And then John is like, "Oh well, I'm just looking for a hookup, you know, a nightstand. I'm looking for if we have more chemistry, friends with benefits, no strings attached. I'm basically just looking for sex." And then you're like, "John, that's really cool that we have the same interests. You know, I'm also just looking for sex. So that's nice." And then John treats you like shit out of the nowhere because you told him you're just looking also for sex. But then you don't care because, you know, you're just looking for sex. And then John is like, "Well, come to my place." And you're like, "That's cool, John, but before that, I need to know your statuses on STDs." And then John is like, "Well, what do you mean I am clean?" And I'm like, "John, I am clean too. I shower every day and I shower my butthole, so I'm probably more clean than you, but I don't mean that, John. What I mean is your, you know, your status on sex, on your sexuality, on because we will be touching our bodies and sharing fluids. So, you know, I just need your STD slaps. It's very common. I'll show you mines to you too." And then John is like, "Well, I'm clean. I don't have any STD." And I'm like, "John, how do you know that? Like, when was the last time you tested?" And then John is like, "Well, I've never tested." And then John is like, "Oh, I actually did them like a year ago or months ago. Yeah." And then I'm like, "That's amazing, John. Can you show them to me? I actually do ask for more recent ones, like, you know, the most late 6 months, but if you have them, you know, just show them to me to see what's up." And then John is like, "Well, I don't have them. But you can trust me that I am 100% clean. Trust me. Like, I know you just met me and you don't know anything about me. You don't even know my last name. But trust me that I'm clean." And I'm like, "Okay, John, you know, I can't trust you with that because I don't even know my own body. I actually do need to go and test in order for me to know if I have anything. I don't even know myself, John." That actually needs to go into a laboratory in order for someone to know if they have an infection. And then John is like, "Well, actually, I haven't got any symptoms." And I'm like, "Well, a lot of STIs are actually asymptomatic. You don't have symptoms even in years, and you know, you can still pass them around." And then John is like, "Well, I don't have anything. I've just been in bed with clean ladies." And I'm like, "Oh, that's nice, John. Did they ever show their labs to you?" And then John is like, "No, they didn't, but I know they're clean because they were white girls, middle class." And I'm like, "Okay, John, that doesn't make sense. You need to know because of labs. There's no other way of knowing, John." And then John looks at me and he's like, "Well, I just got off from a relationship. It was hard. But she was a virgin and I was his first guy. So I'm 100%. She was clean because she was a good girl. She was actually from the church. And I just fucked with her. Yeah. I'm opening to you so you can trust me." And I'm like, "John, church people can have infections too. And it's cool. Like, you know, just get it treated, get an antibiotic. Or if you have AIDS, you know, we can just use PrEP. It's cool, John. But I won't really take your word. I know you open to me, John, but I don't want to take your word just because I don't want to, John." And then John's like, "You're a fucking bitch. You know, this is never going to work out. You're so complicated. You're just so fucking complicated. Like, you're going to die alone with cats. You're never going to find a boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, John, I get it. But we're not having sex, John. And then John's like, well, you're not even worth it. You're fucking ugly. Look at yourself. You don't even have tits or ass. Why are you asking for laps? No one is going to give you laps. You're not worth it. You're not a porn star. And I'm like, okay, John, I'm not. But even if you're not a porn star, I'm a human. And that takes care of my own health. So it's not happening. And then John goes out to tweet that men's loneliness pandemic is very bad due to women being very complicated, because I asked for laps and he didn't have them. And then days pass and John messages you and he's like, okay, I've been thinking and maybe I'll do laps for you, but tell me if it's really going to be worth it, if it's really going to be worth my time. Are you going to give me a good head or not? But really good. Is it going to be fucking worth it? It has to be worth it, because I'm making an effort for a girl. It has to be fucking worth it. You have to do sex like a porn star in order for me to do laps. Okay? It has to be worth it. Because no one fucking does laps. You're asking for too fucking much. You're asking for too much. And you're not even worth it.